Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alec Reed. This is my channel Alec Reads, and today we're reading chapter 77, Long Time No See, a marriage heartstopper fan fiction. My goodness, my brain just stopped working there. Anyway, by heartstopper underscore fan 22 on Wattpad. My goodness, my brain is fried. But besides the point, hello everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing morning, afternoon, night, whatever you're having. But anyway, I am going to put a trigger warning, in this episode just because, Charlie's mom does say some pretty awful things, and they can be pretty harmful to certain people, so I just want to put that out there. If you start to get a little uncomfortable, click off the video and, watch something else. I know that you might want to continue listening to the story to figure out where everything goes, but at the same time, you can always ask in the comments and I will tell you the gist of this chapter, so that if you don't if you can't watch the entire episode simply because of something that triggers you, then you will be able to know what happened, because I want you to know what happened without having to harm yourself in the process. But anyway, let's jump right into the video. Chapter 77, Long Time No See. Nick's perspective. I parked a few houses down so I could talk to Charlie for a bit before we had to go in. He hasn't visited his family in a long time, and the anxiety has been building up for the last few days with his mom's constant calls, never to just catch up with her son, but to get angry with him about every detail of his life. Charlie, I say, grabbing his arm to get his attention. He takes off his helmet and places it on the seat of the bike. Yeah? I look into his eyes, trying to grasp any hints I can get. I don't want to make it sound like I think his parents are awful people that would hurt him. If your mom doesn't see that you're an amazing son and person who has improved so much, then can we leave? She doesn't get to put you down anymore. Nick gives me a wide smile before hugging me and interlocking our fingers. Okay, he says, as we're now walking towards the Spring household's front door. Right before he knocked, I grabbed his hand and pulled it down, saying, "Hey, before we go in, let's have a positive attitude and think about how we get to see your sweet brothers, Tori and Michael, and your dad, and, maybe it'll be nice to see your mom." I could see his smile grow, and he kissed me quick on the lips. Why are you right about everything? I smile him on the cheek. I kiss him on the cheek and rang the doorbell, awaiting what was going to happen next. Charlie's perspective. My heart pounded as we waited for that door to open, but to my relief, it was Oliver who answered the door. He threw his arms around Nick, then moving over to hugging me tight. "Happy birthday! We missed you guys. I never see you anymore." I smile, but it comes out as more of a sorry look. He then takes a step closer to us. "It's Mom, isn't it?" I know my brother was older now. He was 13, officially a teen, but I didn't know if I should burden him with my dislike for our mother. It seemed like a line I shouldn't cross. Nick picked up my hesitation and said, "Well, look at you all grown up and opening the door for people now." I wasn't allowed to open the door until I was 15. My mom thought I was going to be kidnapped by the mailman or something. Oliver laughed at what he thought was a joke, but was actually true. I can't blame him. I laughed when I heard the story for the first time too. I wrapped my arms around Oliver and said, "Just know we both love you so much, and that will never change. He shot me one of his confident schoolboy jock smiles and leads us to the kitchen where everyone was. My dad came and hugged us both. Then, congratulations, you two, and happy birthday to my boy. I smiled at my dad. He looked happy, but I could tell he was hurt we didn't visit as much, which made me want to sit on the floor and start sobbing. My dad always been there for me, and I haven't been there for him. Thanks, Dad. I really missed you. He smiled like you wouldn't believe, then said, Me too. Nick, Nick, Nick! A small voice came from behind. Then all of a sudden I had Noah wrapped around my leg. Charlie, Nick's here, he said excitedly. I picked him up and put him on my hip. He was getting quite big to do this. He was in 3rd year at school now. I kissed him on the forehead. Yes, he is. You seem excited. He nodded his head. I have a best friend too. His name's Alex. I looked at Nick and he looked at me. Noah then says, But I don't kiss my friends like you do. With a chuckle. Because Mom says that I'm not allowed. I flushed pink. I didn't realize that he picked up on the fact that we kissed. I guess we never hid it from him, but when I was living at home, we didn't go around kissing very often unless it was in my bedroom. Well, that's because Nick isn't my friend. He's my husband. So we're allowed to kiss like Mom and Dad. And Tori and Michael. Nick was drinking a beer that my dad had gave him and started coughing and choking when I said the word husband. I've never called him that before. I mean, technically we're not, but he would understand what fiance is. I think he was too young for that. I think 2 guys being together would be confusing enough. Nick then looked at him and said, Yeah, Charlie's my husband, so kissing is normal, but don't go around trying to kiss your friends. You're too little. My heart was warm and fuzzy hearing him say husband. It felt amazing, and our relationship really felt concrete. I put Noah down and ruffled his similar black curly hair. Nick turned to me and whispered, So I'm your husband now. I smirked and put my arm on his shoulder. Maybe? He grinned and kissed me on the forehead before my mom came and said, Aren't you boys coming to say hello to your mother-in-law? I looked down at my feet, already feeling intimidated by her. We were, but Noah was talking about how me and Nick are best friends, but we like to kiss, so we just explained to him that we're not friends, but together, like you and Dad, and that's the reason we kiss. She looked uncomfortable, which made me 10 times more uncomfortable than whatever she was feeling. She then said, Well, if you guys could just not kiss near him, that would be great, because I don't want him thinking it's okay. Not because I'm not, supporting you. You guys know I love you too, but being gay comes with a lot of problems, like bullying and then all the side effects from bullying, and that's a lot to deal with, and I don't want to go through that again. My heart sank, and I felt like screaming in her face, but I felt Nick's hand grab mine and squeeze it, which instantly gave me comfort. I looked up at her and said, Well, why don't you tell me how you feel? She rolled her eyes. Hey, you know that's not what I meant. I scoffed. Whatever. And Nick led me away by my hand from the kitchen where she was seated up to my room. Chapter 78. Moments before disaster. Charlie's perspective. Fuck. I'm already crying and we haven't even been here 20 minutes. I wiped my eyes as we made our way upstairs to seek privacy from everyone and some peace and quiet. We entered my room. It looked basically the same. I didn't take much stuff with me, mostly because my parents didn't let me, saying I was going to be back here in a matter of weeks. Well, that didn't fucking happen. No, baby, don't cry, Nick says as he kissed the tears off my face. My sadness all of a sudden turned into anger, and I snapped, throwing a book off my bookshelf against the wall, causing a huge slam. I fucking hate her! I screamed. Nick held my shoulders and faced me towards him. Okay, I know you're really upset, but you can't break shit, Charlie. Your mom's going to have a complete meltdown, and it will get worse, causing you to look like you're at fault for this mess. I looked at him annoyed, growing more annoyed by the minute. Are you saying that this is my fault? Nick, are you kidding me? My voice raised, and I shoved his arms off of me. He looked confused and hesitant. No, of course not. I just meant your mom will pin this on you. If something breaks because she's manipulative. My head spun. I didn't know what came over me. I wasn't mad at Nick. I was just taking it out on him because I was so angry. I feel as if I could rip all my hair out. Shit, no, I'm just taking it out on you. I'm sorry, I said while putting my hands on my head in frustration. Then the door creaked open. I looked up from my lap to see my little brother's small, priceless little face. He walked in, and I quickly put a smile on. Hey, buddy, what's going on? I inquire. He looked sad, but then went up to Nick and climbed into his lap. Did kids ever love Nick? He was really good with them, too, which was a total turn-on. Noah's voice was quiet, like a whisper. Oliver's being mean to me. Nick brushed the hair out of his face behind his ears. Tell us more, Nick confidently said. Noah responded with, he threw all my toys from the sandbox over the neighbor's fence. I could see Nick's heart of gold through his skin. Don't be sad. He beamed before tickling him like crazy, trying to see him smile again. He stopped, then said, the tickle monster will get them back. Noah laughed some more before saying in the sweetest voice, why is Charlie upset? Nick, can you make Charlie feel better too? I looked at him with an expression saying, don't you freaking dare. He just smirked and started tickling me like crazy. Stop! Never. Nick, I can't breathe. I'm not an amateur, I know that excuse. Noah's laughter in the background was loud and made me happy, but I wondered why Oliver would do that to our little brother. He used to be such a sweet, caring brother, it's unlike him. Nick, stop! Fine, you smiled though, I win. Nick stood there looking very proud of himself, and I didn't care what my mom had said. I pulled Nick by the scuff of his shirt, jerking him towards me and giving him a quick kiss on the lips. I wasn't going to full-on make out with him in front of my little brother, but I want to be with Nick. I don't want to pretend that Nick is my platonic mate or something. Nick squeezed my hand tight as we went back downstairs to the rest of my family. When I walked downstairs, I saw Tori coming towards me. I threw myself in her arms. Happy birthday, Charles. I'm only saying this so Mom won't bug me about it, or I wouldn't have. I know you don't care much about birthdays and hate when people come up to you all day and says that it drives you nuts, too, but I can't handle any more nagging from her. So, there you go. My sister was unapologetically truthful, and you can always count on her to speak her mind. If she's thinking it, she's saying it. Thanks, Tori. I then whispered to her, Mom's already being a bitch, and I got like 25 minutes ago. She whispered back, Mother of the fucking year. I almost didn't come. I knew she would do this. I chuckled, and we parted our ways, allowing for me to say hi to Michael and Nick to interact with Tori. Michael opened his arms, and I hugged Michael tight, soaking in the comfort I felt around him. He's been such a supportive friend in the past years. Well, he's actually my brother-in-law now, but wasn't always. He's always been the most supportive friend any mentally ill teenager could ask for. I could let myself go with Michael because he understood like nobody else would. In a lot of ways, we were the same. We shared the same heartbreaks and situations most LGBTQ+ members tended to deal with in high school. But he was different. He handled things the same way I did, which I had never heard of before talking with him. I felt like a black sheep. Even when he told me about his experiences, I felt like a black sheep, but it was like I wasn't the only black sheep anymore. There was two now, and that little bit of comfort got me through a lot of shit. I missed you so much, Michael. He looked at me with a quirky smile, 2 different colored eyes, a messy side part, and said, Tell me about it, but it was so nice being a part of your engagement. The pictures came out so good. I smiled. Well, Nick put his arm around my shoulder, obviously done with his conversation with Tori. She despised small talk, so conversation didn't often last long with her. They didn't say. I said, looking at my golden retriever-looking fiancé. Nick looked at Michael and said, Yeah, thank you guys again for coming that day and helping me with the surprise. Having you guys there meant a lot to us. Michael then blushed. You're going to make me cry. You guys are too lovely for this world. Then Tori said, Agreed, but barf. We all laughed, knowing that's Tori's way of saying I love you. Nick's perspective. After saying hi to Tori and Michael, I went to grab another beer in the kitchen when I felt a tap on my back. I turned around to see Oliver. He whispered to me, Can I talk to you in private? I nodded my head, and he led me the way upstairs to his room. I have no idea what he's going to say. It's honestly making me quite nervous, and the thought of him asking me instead of Charlie was kind of shocking. What the hell has happened? Alright, everyone, that is the end of today's episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed, I'm so excited for this next episode that will be out. What day is today? Today is Tuesday, right? Today's Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. If it is Tuesday, then the next one will be out on Thursday. If it's not Tuesday, then I don't know. I try and post every other day, but anyway, leave in the comments what you think that Oliver is going to say to Nick. I'm very curious. What do you guys think? But anyway, remember to like, subscribe, and comment, whether it's recommendations or whether it's just saying hello. You guys can always say hello. But anyway, good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between. Bye, friends. See you in the next episode.